This is Hardy Brute with another run of Inventorix, the inventory debt management game. We still have some devices to unlock. Occupy all free cells when making the second payment. Make the first and second payment with the exact amount. Win a run with only 30 cells opened. And discard all of your items before making the first payment and still win the game. And I'm not sure if that includes the selector or not. Level 5 difficulty adds the Obnox Elder. He's an unfriendly alien who will close a random cell after your first payment. He, along with the blocker, both cost $10 to remove, but we only owe $20, so they're really nickel and diming us here. But we got a turtle in the shop, and I think it's time for a turtle build. Progressively, our builds have been getting stronger and stronger, and I'm not actually sure if the turtles can keep up, but I'm very interested in finding out. The 2x2 6 Slim takes up much more space, but the only difference between all three of these turtles is the base amount. They all scale $1, $2, $3 per turtle of the same kind. So to maximize space and profit, I'm going to be focusing on the 1x2 turtles and the 1x1 turtles. Because essentially they're the same, but you can fit a lot more into the space because they're so much smaller. One thing I noticed is that the 1x1 turtles have an income of 0 by themselves, and you only start making money when you have 2 or 3 of them, and you have to be very lucky to get them back to back, otherwise you can't make the first payment. So that's where the other turtles sort of come in, helping you get past that first hurdle, but there's actually quite a few different options. But you could always grab an artifact, or discard a gold coin for $10, so there's definitely options besides just turtles to get past the first payment. But we made space for the alien token, because I'm a sucker for the aliens. And now we're getting $6 per turn. And we found a second 2x1 turtle. So let's combine and increase our income by $1. So we're going to end our first payment with 22. And we just barely had enough. An exploit I discovered with the Obnox Elder is that if all your cells are filled up when you have to make the payment, he doesn't actually remove a cell or kick out your items. So he may not be as unfriendly as he seems, but it's good to know if you have a low income build. And what is this alien? Counts as any turtle type. Wow. This is my third or fourth attempt at a turtle build, and I've never seen this alien before, so this is very cool and very powerful, especially for a common. One more turn for a payment, gives $3 if it's a multiple of 3. Well, now we definitely want more of those turtle aliens. And we found a second one. So now that adds $2 for each tier 1 turtle, $4 for a tier 2, and $6 for a tier 3. There's also some rare and unique turtles that actually care about all of the turtles, so that alien's going to be even better later on. Now we can make some bank off of our turtles. We found another arch turtle, and we got a rare battery with 16 ticks. That's a pretty massive battery. I wish we had that during our battery run. But now we're getting $23 in just one turn. We got the Robotos back, and it gives $2 per other Robotos. Then it goes to 4, then 6, which is pretty good. It's a lot higher than our 1, 2, 3, but he still only cares about himself. The Turtle Probe gives $1 per turtle around it, but it's only got 5 spots, and at the most it can only give you 15, so I don't think that item is worth it. And we got the Token Infinite here. Discard it for 4, then 16, then 64, and it can go above tier 3. That item is pretty cool. We're seeing quite a few new items today. I like the Shellorix quite a bit, because he also cares about the 1x1 blue Shellorix, giving us $1 for each one. Each alien turtle we have is actually adding $2 to the Shellorix, counting as both types in one, so that is pretty cool. And now we're up to $30 per round, and we got another Arch Nerdle, a 1x2 turtle. The Arch Nerdle actually falls off a bit later, because he only cares about himself, and he doesn't scale in the same way that the Shellorix does with the Shellorix. But there are some turtles that care about just any sort of turtle, so it's still nice to have them in the build. And the game really wants us to play with Robotos. But let's just skip here, add the cell, in case we get some more Shellorix. There's a unique alien turtle that I would like, which makes the Shellarax have a 10% chance to reproduce a Shellarax each turn. But 10% is pretty low, and the one run that I actually got it only produced 3 to 4 Shellarax the entire run. So I'm not going to be too disheartened if we don't actually find it. I think the common turtles are way better. So let's see what we can get. We got the row, the discard, and the batteries again. Let's roll for a bit. We didn't find anything useful, so let's use one of our choices on more rerolls, so hopefully we can get another turtle alien. But we got another column alien, a trigram, and a floral alien. So let's keep on rolling. And we got our third turtle alien, the Turtleologist, going from $34 up to $41, and increased our total by 7. We got a 1x1 Shellarax and a 1x2 Archnurtle. I do think the Shellarax is better. They went from $41 to $47. And you can start seeing how much impact just one turtle has on our total income. We got another Robotos, which I wouldn't even be against, we just don't have the space for it. Adding in the Archnurtle, we go from 47 to 59. Our gains haven't been too crazy, but they have been very consistent, which I like. We got a purple reroll token, as well as the rare transfer. Takes away the value on the left and adds it to the value on the right. All of our turtles actually gain a flat amount, so that's not actually going to increase our income, but if we find some boosters and multipliers later on, I might actually pick it up, especially when we get some more space. So we got another Archnurtle, going from 59 to 73. The Archnurtle has the biggest impact on our income at the moment, just because we have those 2 tier 2s. So let's lock the 1-for-1, get the free reroll, and we got a 6 limb, so we didn't actually gain anything. We went from 74 up to 82. We broke past the 220 dead, but not by a whole lot. We found the Turtana, gives $1 for any other turtle. And our alien turtles are worth every type of turtle, so this turtle must be worth a ton. Let's combine the Archnurtles, because they're very strong early, but they fall off later. And the Turtana, we go from 62 to 75. He should be our largest single turtle income, but our overall income did decrease from 82 down to 75. But maybe the Archnurtle purple is actually worth more. The Turtana is worth 13, and the Archnurtle is worth 18. But that is a tier 3 compared to a tier 1. And the Turtana is only going to get better and better, especially if we get some more alien turtles. But let's leave lots of space for some 2x2 turtles, because they seem to have the strongest effect in the late game. Multiplies its value to a random cell, that's pretty interesting. But let's definitely get the +1 alien and +1 item choice. Jokers affect all items. That's actually pretty good for the turtles that we have. But there are other boosters and multipliers that don't require an alien slot. And we got the Eye alien, giving us +3 cells, which I think is pretty essential to our current build. We're definitely lacking on space. And we found so many Robotos at this point, we could have had a tier 3. Hopefully we find just a random turtle. And there's the Joker now, sort of mocking us. We could have had an uncommon multiplier, but I think the space will serve us better in the long run. Adding another Shellarax, we go from 75 to 87. We also kind of have an average income from each turtle, between 10 and 18, so multiplying it by 2 is just about as impactful as adding another turtle. Adding a Shellarax, we go from 87 to 99. But eventually we should have a King Turtle. The Turtana is already up to 15, while the Archnurtle is still only at 18. We found the Amplifier, which is a 2x booster, which I think we should actually get. It'll give us options later on, and it'll be one of many pieces that we'll need to multiply the value of a single turtle very high. Let's connect the multiplier to our Archnurtle, giving us another $18. I would like to find the transfer again, but we don't have the space for it even if we found it, so hopefully we won't find it till after the payment. And we found another Robotos. That is pretty funny. And we didn't get any turtles, but we got the blue token, which will give us 2 more rerolls back. And we've broken past the debt, but not by much. We're always within 2 or 3 turns of actually making the debt amount. We got a tier 2 arch turtle, so let's combine it with our tier 2, get another tier 3, and that's not actually going to increase our current tier 3. But we went from 116 to 122, just making that one turtle slightly better. And let's make the payment and get some more space. 9 slots that we desperately needed. I'm tempted to take the rerolls here. Takes away $1 each turn, adds 3 to it, and then on discard gives you the amount. I definitely want to do a discard build, but it seems pretty hard to get online. And now that we have 9 rerolls, we're kinda guaranteed to get one of the turtle aliens, the +1 aliens, or the space aliens. So after 3 more rerolls, we did actually get the space alien, which I think there's still enough time to actually take advantage of it, at least for 1 more payment, where afterwards we might actually get rid of it. And at this point we could have had a tier 2 Joker, giving us a ×3 multiplier. But what is this? Gives as much cash as the item's value, ×1, ×2, ×3. That is pretty cool. It's another way to double the value without doubling the value directly, so this definitely joins the build. And we can hook it up to our turtle that is getting the 2× multiplier, so that we can get even more cash. With our current turtles, the Turtena gets us up to 149, but the Arch Turtle, which is worth $3 more, will push us up to 158, so that's definitely better. The Turtena should overtake the Arch Turtle if we find 3 more turtles, or if we upgrade it to tier 2, which will double its income right now. And we found just so many Robotos. Got another Inventorix, which is very good for our Turtena. We went from 158 to 172. And we're definitely making gains turn by turn. They're just not massive, huge gains. And we don't have any turtles in the shop, but we did lock down the blue coin. So even more rerolls. But even so, I like this build quite a bit. Hooking up the machines and the boosters to a single turtle is pretty fun, seeing how high you can get it. So let's get another Inventorix, going from 172 up to 188. You see a turtle? Yeah, grab a turtle. It's a pretty chill build as well. And we found another Turtena, so now we can upgrade it to tier 2. And I don't think there's a point in having multiple Turtenas in the build, especially now that we're going all in on a single turtle. With it being tier 2, we jump up to 203, but with the Turtena getting all of the boosts, we go up to 245. So we increase by 57 from our last round. And the Turtena is giving a total of 64, and the machine is giving us 64 as well. And now we have 12 spots to unlock, so we can fit a lot more turtles in the build now. We've also got 9 rerolls saved up, but after using 6 of them, we get a turtle and a +1 alien in the shop at the same time. So let's get rid of the reroll alien, because he already served his purpose. There's only 2 more payments left. And the Spacer alien I think already served his purpose as well, so let's replace him. And we already gained $23 just from another alien turtle. The +1 alien maxes out items at 2, but it maxes out the aliens at 3, so there is actually a reason to get a 3rd one. And we got another Inventorix. We're now at 268, going up to 293. And we got a rare Parablocks, which is also a turtle and a mineral. That is actually pretty cool. So that item can actually be boosted a number of ways. Our total income increased from 245 to 298. So we made quite a big gain in that last turn. There's nothing useful in this shop, so let's re-roll. Out of these 2 turtles in the shop, I think I'm going to take the 1 for 2, the Solitaire card, which is going to boost our income from 293 up to 302, which is a pretty good gain just for a random turtle card. But we're at 1,000 and we need 1,600. Another rare Parablocks, and we actually got the transfer back, nice. So now we can add value to the multiplier and make our King Turtle even better. So let's add this to the build and rearrange. So now the Archnurtle is feeding into the Turtena, increasing our income from 302 to 365. And we've got some big games turn by turn. It hasn't been as insane as the Wayfinder that we had last time, but it's still a small little progression and it does feel good. Adding in another Shellorix, we go up to 392, gaining another 27. Swapping the Archnurtle and the Shellorix actually lowers our income, but that is a tier 3 Archnurtle and only a tier 1 Shellorix, so if we upgrade the tier, we actually go up to 400 from 392. And if we get a Shellorix or a Shellorix, our Shellorix will get even better. And we did find another Shellorix, which will add $2 to our tier 2 and $1 for each one of our small Shellorix. But we go from 400 to 433, gaining 33 just from that one turtle. And now we have the option to go for a tier 3 Shellorix if we want. 9 more cells, and we're almost going to get all of them. We only have 3 more spots here. Let's get a 2x1 in the corner, in case we have to put another Archnurtle there. And I'm pretty tempted to take the rerolls again, because there's actually quite a few turtles in the items that we haven't actually discovered yet. So let's take this instead of the space. And we got another +1 alien. Target alien gives 10 more cash. That'd be good for the alien that multiplies based on his value. But let's just save our rerolls and take the +1 alien. We didn't get anything in the shop, but we are looking for some turtles that we haven't seen before, some more multipliers, or some of the items that we have hooked up to our King Turtle to upgrade them to tier 2. We found a booster that times 10, a 1-for-1 item, which we could put a Shellorix inside, but there's no way to transfer that $100 to $200 to our multiplying machine over here. So I think I'm just going to take the Shellorix. Going from 433 to 468, the 10 times booster would have given us a big boost in our income, but it also takes up a ton of space, and that boost wasn't scalable. But we got 2 turtles here, and a machine booster. Multiplies the target's value by itself. Currently it's a +0, but then it becomes +5, +10. So that'd be very good if we found multiple one of those, but it's kind of useless on its own. And let's combine our Shellorix to make a tier 3, going from 468 to 489, and locking down the Shellorix. So we got 4 turns, and we're making about 500 per turn, so I think we just barely make it. And what is this monstrosity? The Turtle Queen gives the sum of dollar value of all other types of turtle as a multiplier. That is very good. And she definitely deserves to be in the machine over our king, but just throwing her in the build jumps us up to 563, and the 2 times multiplier is not even connected. So let's hook her up to the machine. When she's hooked up to the Shellorix, she goes to 1147, but when she's hooked up to the Turtena, she goes up to 1149. More than doubling our total income. And we're almost going to make our entire bank just on this one extract. And now we will definitely afford the final payment. So let's do the extract, and we've got 2 more shops until the final payment. But the Queen Turtle made almost 500 just on her own. And we found a multiplier. It gives the value of the item on the left times the value on the right. So this is going to make us a lot more cash. And placing against the Queen and the Shellorix already boosts our income up to 6k, but let's actually place it next to one of our tier 3 turtles. With the tier 3, that is almost worth the same as our Turtena, we jump up to 22,000. And that is much, much better. And this is also with a bunch of tier 1s. The tier 1s are also rare, so it's pretty unlikely we'll actually find it for the final shop, but I'm going to unlock the turtles just in case. Give us that extra little bit of chance. And the amount of jokers we found throughout the run would only give us a multiplier of 3 instead of our current multiplier of 2, so it really wouldn't have made that much of a difference. But we're now up to 25,000. We have no more rerolls, and out of these 3 turtles, the Turtena is probably the best. It is the final turn, the final payment, and ideally we probably would have wanted at least another Turtena to make that one tier 3. But let's combine these Shellorixes, and throw in the Turtena. The turtle build didn't scale an insane amount, but it was very consistent, and with how many machines we hooked up to our queen, we actually made the most of it. And don't forget these are all tier 1, so we could easily have broken 100k if we were lucky enough. Through my attempts at a turtle run, we actually unlocked a device as well. Device number 2. After extraction, if all cells are occupied, opens 2 random cells, otherwise it closes a free cell. I see. So it's a good and a bad thing. But I liked our build quite a bit, and the queen makes a very fun noise. So I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to support, the best way to do that is to leave a like or subscribe. So I'll see you later.